you strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you could possibly imagine.
Welcome everybody, it is Bulldog here, and we're gonna go off track a little bit. We're gonna get a little bit off topic, but this is going to be one of my personal favorite videos. This is going to be a very niche video. I know a lot of people aren't necessarily going to care about this, but I don't care. One of my favorite things to do, just to talk about with Splinterlands or any game that I play, is coming up with new ideas for the game, whether the economy ideas, gameplay ideas. I like to be like a gaming architect and design new things to come up with. And usually I don't make videos on these because, as I said earlier, most people don't necessarily care about them, but we talk about them in Discord, talk about them in other places, and I decided to compile 5 of my favorite ideas that either myself or the community has come up with. 3 of these ideas are going to be my own. 2 I'm stealing from the, actually 1 stealing from the community, 1 stealing from a Splinterlands current team member. But 5 ideas that are kind of more radical, more extreme, ideas that I really do not think will ever get in the game. These are not likely things. These are not talking about future upcoming updates or ideas that I'm excited about that are down the line. If you're just here for news on Splinterlands or you want to know what's coming next, those types of things, you might want to turn out. This is all just for fun about some cool things that I think could be built that would really take this game to the next level. And these ideas are going to range from probably unlikely to happen to no chance in hell this is ever going to happen. They're going to range from ideas that would take just a small amount of time to implement to full 6-month projects to put in the game. We're gonna have a wide range of things in here. I don't have much to show up on the screen, so you're just gonna see some of my recent battles here playing in the background. By the way, you see that Dricken kill? Did you see that Dricken kill? We got a chicken kill on the first battle shown there. Anyways, okay, let's move on. Let's start the video here. Idea number 1, the one that I've kind of talked about a lot that I would really like to see, is featured rule sets and a featured promo card every single month. And I think this could be tied in to a battle pass. We know a battle pass idea is coming, okay? And this could be something that ties into a battle pass. Having a thematic rule set that is very, very popular for the month, having like a monthly theme. And that theme could be all like, okay, all Pelcors get a certain bonus with this rule set, or all Venari get a certain bonus, or it can be tied into the lore and you have a group of characters that there's a lore about them. Maybe you've got a group of characters, we'll make it up and we'll call them the mercenaries, and the mercenaries are the kind of focus of the lore, and then that group of cards gets the mercenary tag, and there's a rule set where they get a bonus all month long, and you essentially have this rule set that is very likely to appear. Maybe it appears in 60% of the battles, or 50, or even 25 or 30. It appears in a high frequency to make it a themed month. And again, that could kind of go with the battle pass and make it a themed battle pass. And then after that month is over, it could then continue to be a part of the rule set rotation, but it would be more rare. So cards that benefit from that rule set, cards in that whatever that group is, would become more valuable for that month. And then you design promo cards around a promo card around that. And I've talked about how I think that you could do the promo card, make it fairly cheap, a more accessible promo card, and have it for burning vouchers. We've talked about voucher utility. The game needs voucher utility. If we had a promo card every single month for vouchers only, that's not necessarily limited, that's where people can burn as many vouchers as they want to go get these cards, we could really have a consistent voucher sync. And I think that's one way we could do it. And I want to show some examples of what I mean by that. So let's pause that battle right here, and let's move over, because I think the best way to really showcase how these promo cards could work is if I put some examples up on the screen. Because one of the things about people say, well, you can't just churn out promo cards over and over. Having a promo card every month, you're gonna get, like, you can't make a cool, powerful card every single month. You're just gonna get so much power creep that it'll devalue all the other cards or those types of things. And I think using this format, you can actually introduce these cards where you have power creep, but just for the month. It's powerful just in this rule set, which makes it very valuable for that 1 month. but it doesn't necessarily hold that power creep down the line. So here we go. Here's an example. We're gonna use Darth Squirrel as the character here, just as an example. So let's take a look at this card. What if this was your promo card for the month, okay? Would you be excited about this card? It might have some utility, 1 mana, 1 attack. If you've got 1 mana left to just throw a card in the back line, maybe you'd use this. But in general, 1 scatter shot damage isn't going to contribute a lot, right? It's not necessarily going to be a great card. But what if, for the month, this was your featured rule set that was popping up in half the battles, 60% of the battles. The exact number doesn't matter. A high percentage of time. Corrupted Squirrels. Grant the poison ability to all squirrels at the start of battle. Now, obviously we don't have any squirrels in the game, so we're assuming there'd be more squirrels. This would be like if it was Pelcors or Venari or whatever the case is. Okay? Now how good is this card? Now suddenly, having for 1 mana, having 1 scatter shot damage going around, but it's not the 1 damage, it's the poison damage. This guy it's like Acid Shooter. Acid Shooter is not a great card in silver, bronze level, but you get up to diamond level where it's got that, it's for 2 mana, it's got scatter shot poison range damage, and that's a card that's used quite a bit. That's a very, very good card. This becomes a very good card in that rule set. It's not broken, it's not ridiculously powerful, but it's a very useful card, and I think people would go burn vouchers in order to get this. All right, let's take a look at another example, because I have just as much fun coming up with these cards and designing cards and rule sets as I do coming up with all these other things that we're talking about. So anyways, I just have fun with it, so let's go. Here's another one, okay? What about this card? If this was just a promo card, would you be excited about it? It might have some use, maybe some niche use. A range can attack up front where, okay, it's got that camouflage. It's got the 6 armor, but it doesn't even make for a good sneak defense because it's got camo, so you can't target it with sneak. It can gain a lot of health, but what good is that health going to do normally when, okay, it's got sneak, and then by the time it gets up to the front, it can't attack up front anyways. But maybe if you're in a range, can attack up front rule set or something like that. I mean, maybe some niche uses. Again, if it's just a cheap card, maybe it could be one that could be played. But what happens if this becomes the rule set? Squirrels Unite! All squirrels gain armor equal to the squirrel with the highest armor at the start of battle. So it's like the health equalizer rule set that we have, except it's for armor and it's specific just to squirrels. Okay, and again, this would be some sort of faction in the game. A great way to add factions in the game in addition to elements. But again, or you can just keep it simple with Venari, Pelcor, whatever, just some of the common ones we see. We had a bunch of squirrels. Now, how good's this card? Now for 3 mana, you're able to add 6 armor. And just imagine if, so you had a group of cards that was fun to play together, okay? Because you can do some other cool things around this. So now it's fun to build a team of squirrels because they synergize together. Okay, if you had a bunch of other, again, we're using the theoretical squirrels here, but now they synergize together and get bonuses when played together. Especially if those cards don't have a ton of armor, and now for 3 mana, you're giving all those cards 6 armor, and if they're already a halfway decent team when paired together anyways, that would be cool. But okay, imagine that it's not squirrels, but it's I mentioned earlier, I made up a group of mercenaries that they designed lore around, and these guys are going on a quest together in the lore. Well, that would be cool to actually take those characters from the lore, and you're putting them on the same team, especially for this month or in this rule set, and playing them together, and it gets people to go look at the lore because you're playing this group as a team, and it's like, okay, well, why am I putting this team? Why am I encouraged to play this team together? Why do I have fun taking this group that actually know what happens to them through the lore and playing them directly in game instead of just random groups of cards that are synergized only for their stats and not because of what characters they are? So you could just get a whole nother level of gameplay by doing this, which I think would be really, really cool. So, all right. On to, we had fun, kept it a little modest here. Let's really have some fun now. Let's get crazy with it. How about this card right here, okay? This card looks awesome to me, all right? This Darth Squirrel card. A little weird, huh? You've got double strike on a card that doesn't have any attack. On its own, this card's terrible. Terrible by itself. Obviously, it's designed to go with weapons training. Throw some weapons training on it. Even with before we provide our little boost here from the rule set, this could have some niche use. Imagine playing it with like Passibulus, where it's got reach, and then you could throw a cool mastermind to give it some good range or some good melee attack, and you put it in the second spot, and now it's got that double strike with the melee attack. You've got your reflection shield in the second spot, which is good for defending if they've got blast or something like that. So it's got a niche use. That could be a solid card. Like, I think people would want that card as it is, but I don't think it'd be ridiculously powerful or anything. Then what if you give it this rule set? What if this is the featured rule set for the month? Squirrel's attack. Grant weapons training to all monsters adjacent to a squirrel at the start of battle. Before this card would be very restricted based on there just not being a lot of weapons trainings card. There's only so many ways you can play it and get use out of it. Now, what if any card you put next to it had a weapons training? You can put a magic card in front of it, a ranged card in the back, and then it gets or behind it, then it gets magic attack and ranged attack. It's attacking twice. It went from this could be a fun niche card to holy crap, this card's broken. All right, and this would be extremely powerful for that month. And maybe you don't make it that powerful. I mean, I'm kind of designing these. I'm not testing them out. Maybe we need to scale it back a little bit. I don't know. Maybe you need to make it cost more mana. Maybe you just need to make that rule set. I said the rule sets would appear 50 to 60% of the time. Maybe this one only appears 15 to 20% of the time. If it appears 15% of the time, then a lot of times you can't play it anyways because, okay, there's no water, or odd cards aren't allowed, or maybe you make it legendary and legendary cards might be banned or whatever the case is. So in reality, you can only play it in 5% or less of the battles. So yeah, this is a stupid powerful card, but it's still only a very small percent of the battles, even in the month that it's featured in. And then it becomes even more rare after that. So you're getting these cool power creep cards, but they're only that powerful really when this rule set is very common during this one month, this featured month, and building this battle pass around this. I think this would be such a cool concept, and it just changes up the gameplay. Every single month, we'd have a different, you basically have a different way of playing the game. And I said month, it could be whatever time frame you want. I think every season is maybe too soon. Or maybe you have okay, we've got our featured squirrel month, but maybe it's one rule set that's heavy in the first season, then another rule set's that's heavy in the second season, so you even change it up a little more. I know there's so many different ways. I don't want to get into the specifics, but I think this would be a really cool concept for the game. So all right, let's go back to the battles here. That was the one. That could have been a video by itself, but that's only number one. Let's move on to idea number 2. This is one that came from the community. We've had a couple people claim ownership over this idea. I don't necessarily know who it was, but it was not me. But the idea of, for the next set, whether it's the special Chrome, like the movie studio series set that they've got coming out, or whether it's the actual Rebellion set itself, sell the next set. Let me start over here. Require burning chaos cards to mint the next set of cards, okay? So one of the big problems we have right now is that the chaos print rate is just way too high, okay? I think everybody acknowledges that. I was wrong at the start. I didn't think it was high enough when we first started. I didn't realize we had 95% bots in the game back during the bull run when we thought we were approaching 1 million players. Okay, we just don't have as many players as we thought we did. We minted too many chaos cards, okay? One way that we could fix this is require burning chaos cards to mint the next set. And the idea that was suggested was to sell like fusion stones, for example. And there's so many different ways you could do this, but the game could sell fusion stones and sell it for profit. So they're still getting their profit from having the next set, right? They're just not selling the cards directly. Sell these fusion stones, and then you use the stones to combine multiple chaos cards together to get a new Rebellion card, okay? And you could do that with specific recipes, you could do that with randomness, you could have different stones having different cards or different percentages. There's so many ways you can do it. Again, we don't need to go into specifics here, but the point is requiring burning multiple chaos cards to get your Rebellion cards. So you add new cards to the game, which is very important in card games, okay? A lot of people say, oh, we don't need more cards. We've got too much card inflation. We don't want to add new cards. It's important for gameplay to continue adding new cards just to change up the gameplay, okay? Just to keep the gameplay fresh. People get bored if they're playing with the exact same cards over and over again. We need new cards to consistently come to the game. But by doing this, you actually burn more cards than you mint. So you add new variations of cards to the game, you add new unique cards to the game, but your overall card supply actually gets cut, okay? And at the same time, you reward those who stuck with the game with their chaos cards, stuck through chaos, stayed with the game as they see that supply go down, demand for it go up. That would make chaos cards rise in value as well. So the company would be kind of giving up some of the profits, because in order to get these new cards, you have to go buy some chaos cards and then buy the stones as well. So the company would be sacrificing some profit there, but I think it would absolutely be worth it for the health of the game and the economy of the game to cut that chaos supply down to resemble more of the other sets that we've had. And I think that would be a cool thing. Okay. Anyways, that one was more quick. Let's move on to number 3. Number 3 here is my absolute favorite. It's also one that, I'll be honest, no way in hell ever happens, but it's fun to think about because I want a new guild mode, okay? And I want a guild mode where it's not just where there's more guilds working together, where we've got more strategic gameplay instead of just line players up and let them match up against each other. I want a conquest mode, a guild conquest mode, okay? And I'll try to run through this very quick and keep it simple here. The idea behind a guild conquest mode would be that there would be a map. You could use the current land map that we have, but I think we should have different territories that we're actually conquering, or maybe you can conquer on top of the land that we already have. I don't want to be stealing land or anything like that. But anyways, that's irrelevant. You've got a map, you have a lot of different territories. Guilds can go conquer these territories in order to get bonuses in the game. And they could be various different lands, could have different types of bonuses and different degrees of bonuses. So if your guild owns this land, they might get a 1% boost to reward shares. If they own this other piece of land, they might get a 5% boost to reward shares. So the bigger guilds are going to go after the bigger bonuses, right? So smaller guilds can still go after their smaller bonuses and they don't have to fight with the big guilds or whatever the case is. But there can be other things. Maybe you get a boost to production in lands. Maybe you get bonuses in guild brawls. Maybe you can unlock special perks or stuff for guild brawls. Like there can be, maybe you get extra. I mean, there could be so many different things in the game that you can reward different things for, right? Have different boosts, almost like different guild building boost or things like that. Maybe you earn extra merits or have extra legendary chance of pulling legendaries from your daily quest, extra rares, whatever the case is. All of these different bonuses can be spread out across the map. Then guilds can go conquer these territories, and if you hold these territories, you get this boost. So how do you conquer a territory? It's kind of like a guild brawl. You go in, and at first they'd be just controlled by an AI, right? Until somebody conquers them. So you go conquer this territory, and you could attack with, say you attack with 10 players. Decide you want to go in with these 10 members of your guild are going to attack this region. And they line up in guild frays, and you can have you can have the same person essentially entering in multiple frays, but here's a big difference. You can't use your cards more than once. One player can enter 10 frays, okay? They can attack in 10 different frays, but in each of those 10 battles, they have to use a unique card. So it really encourages having a depth of cards, okay? And so you line up with these frays, you attack just like guild brawls. Whoever has the better record wins that territory. Okay? So then once you've conquered a territory, then you have to defend it from attacks against other guilds. And the way you do that is you assign members in your guild to either defend or go attack. Each member can only be doing one action. So you can set a member to defend this territory, okay? And then if somebody comes and attacks it the attacking members come in, the member that's defending it can enter those guild frays and try to defend their territory. Or you can assign members to go out and attack. Okay? So at most, I mean theoretically, and you can set more limits on this if you want, but theoretically, a guild with 30 members could occupy 30 different territories and be getting 30 different bonuses in the game. Now, that would be having one member defend the entire territory. That's going to be kind of tough to do. I think there should be, I said they should be able to enter multiple frays, but I think there should be limits there. So maybe, okay, one member can only enter 10 frays or whatever the case is. So if a guild comes in and they're attacking with, their whole guild of 30 is attacking, you're just not going to be able to even defend enough, enter enough battles to even defend that. But that's essentially the point. Have ways that you can defend territories, having ways you can go out and conquer territories, and then by owning those territories, you get a boost. And maybe the longer you occupy a territory, the bigger the boost is. You can have guild buildings that relate to this boost. Maybe the longer you occupy the territory, the larger the bounty grows on you. So that one guild can't just sit on this territory forever. Even if they're best in the game, they can't sit there forever. Maybe the longer they hold it, there are bounties that grow, and attackers can gain extra bonuses the longer that guild's been defending it, or there can be extra prizes or something like that to motivate somebody to come in with their entire guild to try and take that territory, wherever the case is. The prize grows. There's so many different things that you can do there, but that's kind of the main point, is having these territories that guilds can go out and attack and defend and steal from each other. All in all, we're all fighting over bonuses in the game. I think that would be a really cool setup, would add a whole new dimension to guild play, and would just be a lot of fun. So, all right, there's number 3. Let's move on to number 4. This is a very old idea of mine. In order to, the point of this idea is to improve onboarding for new players and improve the Web 2 the gameplay experience of the game. Because two of my biggest criticisms is that it's hard for players to get into the game, and then the progression in the game is slow, and it's naturally slow because these are real assets, right? There's only so many rewards that you can give out without it just having people farm it to death and bot it to death and all of this stuff. So one way I think you can kind of solve some of these is by having essentially a Web 2 version of Splinterlands. And when I originally proposed this idea, I called it the Dark Dimension mode, okay? Dark Dimension mode is a Web 2 game mode where, okay, you join the game, and when you join the game, you don't need a Hive wallet, okay? You don't have to worry about setting up Hive, getting into Web 3, figuring out the economy. You get packs of cards, you open cards, you can go and start playing battles, okay? And these battles aren't loaded up with all these bots or anything like that, because you don't have bots here, because there's no earnings in this mode, okay? There's no Web 3 earning, there's no crypto earnings in this mode, okay? You would actually be able to earn more cards, be able to earn things faster, because this is more like a Web 2 game. It's more like going and joining a traditional game. And what happens when you join these games? You get flooded with rewards, right? You play the game, you level up very quickly. You get they get that dopamine rush. They get you hooked by sending you all of these rewards. And I think we could do that with Splinterlands, okay? You join, you go play in these battles. Splinterlands can set up bots Splinterlands run bots that are appropriate for whatever league they're at. So when you're joining and just playing at the very low levels, they're very easy bots to beat, and they kind of progress up. And because it's Web 2, you earn more cards. There's no potions. Instead of SPS, you could earn what I call Dark Pyrite, okay? Pyrite's a fool's gold. That's kind of a terrible name for it. But instead of DEC, you earn Dark Pyrite, okay? And you can earn a significant amount of this. And you can take it and you can go buy more of these Web 2 packs, or there can be a Dark Dimension marketplace where you can go buy whatever card you want. You want to go buy a kitty? You can go buy kitty to play with using your Dark Pyrite, okay? The thing is, that kitty's not tradable. That kitty's it's soulbound. It's only playable in this mode that doesn't have any earnings. Again, this is more of a Web 2 game that's made to kind of get players addicted to it. In a way, get them into the game, see how fun it can be, and then you try to sell them on the Web 3. And I think it'd be cool to also put some things in this mode that are not in the Web 3 mode. Maybe you can even use it like a testing grounds. You can maybe you can put some of the new cards that are coming in this mode first to kind of encourage people to play it. Even though I guess a lot of people consider a whale because I have all of the chaos cards. Got a full deck of mostly full modern deck. Why would I go play in this mode that has no earnings? You could add some new cards that are coming. You could add basically the equivalent of gladiator cards. Okay, the whole gladiator concept I think is really cool. I would love to see eventually have 10 different Splinterlands game modes, and each game mode has its own set of cards that are only usable in that mode. We have the guild conquest mode I just talked about. Be able to earn your own set of new guild cards that are only usable in that mode. You can do the same thing with this and have it so those cards are only usable in this Web 2 mode. So I would go play it just to have fun. Okay, and if people don't want to do that, they want to stay away from that mode because it's not Web 3, there's no earnings, then that's fine. They can do that. They're not missing anything out. It doesn't hurt their progression in the kind of the core game modes or anything like that. But I'd see some new cards. I want to play with them. I might go play in there, or just so you can go play when you run out of energy. You don't need energy in this mode. You can make it so people can play as much as they want and level up as much as they want. And you can have some DEC sinks in here so that you can actually buy. I mentioned this dark pyrite that you'd be able to earn by playing battles. Well, just like in Web 2 modes Web 2 game modes where you have these premium items. Everybody loves the microtransactions, right? So you could burn DEC in order to get the dark pyrite to go spend on this mode, and players might like to do that who just enjoy playing the game. You can't afford a max kitty for $2,000. Well, maybe you can go buy it in this other mode and play in this other mode if you really want to play with that card, and it's cheap. Maybe a max kitty cost you $5. Like, it's just a more affordable way for people to go play the game. They come in, they play, enjoy the game. Then we sell them on the Web 3. Then it's like, oh, in this other mode, you can actually go play it. And by the way, I think any cards you own should also be playable in this mode as well. Okay, it's not, you don't have to start over. Everybody that's already got their cards can move them over and play with them in the other mode as well. But okay, the players come in, and you just kind of get them addicted. Oh, there's this other mode. We've got where I can own my cards, where this currency that I earn is actually worth something, and I could sell it on the market if I wanted, whatever the case is. You get people attached to the game without ever needing to associate with Web 3 at all. Then it's so much easier to then go sell the Web 3 model. So many more people would be attracted to it. So many people would love just trying it out and being able to get a better game experience without having to spend a lot of money, or learn how to use Hive and set up a Hive keychain and get their keys and all these other things that make the onboarding process complicated. Started off with a game mode that requires nothing more than an email and password and doesn't even need to use the Hive keychain. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, it's a long video. There's only one more here, and this one is going to be very fast. This one is another one that is not my idea. This is actually stolen from Splinterfest. Hardpoint suggested this for tower defense during his Splinterfest presentation of tower defense. I don't know where this is at with tower defense. I feel like it kind of has fallen aside. I haven't seen it or heard it mentioned since, but I feel like it's not going to be there. But I think it'd be very cool to move over to Splinterlands. I don't think it'll happen, but I think it'd be very cool. And that is burning SPS for leaderboard rewards. Okay, instead of our current reward. Now I say instead of our current DEC leaderboard rewards, I would love for it to be in place of. This could be in addition to it if you want. But right now, you earn DEC based on your final rating in your league. If you finish in the top 50 or top 20 or whatever it is for your league, you get leaderboard reward. This would be a leaderboard similar to that, except it's not based on your final standings. It's based on the amount of SPS you burn from your battles throughout the entire season. So essentially, when you finish a battle here and you win, you could have a setting to do this automatically, or you can have an option after each battle, whatever the case is. You would have the option to burn that DEC to contribute to points towards the leaderboard, okay? And then the rewards for that leaderboard are whoever burns the most DEC throughout the entire season. Doesn't matter where they finish. You can't burn outside in DEC. You can only burn the DEC through battles. So you have to earn that. Sorry, I'm saying DEC again. SPS. DEC is the current leaderboards. This would be SPS, because SPS is what you earn from playing battles. The amount of SPS that you earn, you have the option to burn that. And then these leaderboard rewards would not just be more SPS or more DEC or whatever the case. We would need exclusive leaderboard rewards, maybe an exclusive promo card that can only be earned via the leaderboard rewards by burning SPS. And you could expand it. Right now it's top 50. You could expand the leaderboards to top 100 to top 200 if you want, whatever the case is. But it would basically be almost this game theory between players. And is it worth it to burn the DEC? Am I going to get more, or burn the SPS? Sorry, am I going to get more in rewards from burning that? What if we tie a few of these ideas together? I mentioned the monthly promo card, right? Going back, I spent a lot of time designing promo cards and talking about that idea. What if you could only buy regular foil of the promo card for that for that month? And then the gold foil promo was distributed only via this new leaderboard based on who burned the most SPS in each league throughout the season. That was the only way to get the gold foil. Those gold foil would be valuable. Those leaderboard rewards would be valuable because that's the only way you could get it. We would want very exclusive rewards for them. And that would motivate people to burn SPS. I think that would be awesome. I think it would be very fun to see. We just right now going on is a DEC burning, the great burning event. We're burning DEC, fighting for a leaderboard, okay? And it's going extremely well. We burned 420 million DEC in the first 24 hours. Burning currency for a leaderboard, we've shown that it works, right? Now there's got to be another point to it. But what if we use that same thing for burning SPS throughout the season to get on a leaderboard? Now it's not a whale leaderboard. I mean, sure, some of the game and the leaderboards are, let's be honest, this is a pay-to-win game. So in that case, yes, it is still kind of a whale leaderboard, although you can rent, and it's not that expensive. But the point is, it's not based on just directly spending. You've got to earn this DEC in battles. So you've got to go play the battles, win the battles, and actually perform on the battlefield. And then you can get exclusive rewards for that if you burn the SPS. I think it'd be awesome. I think it would be so cool. Hardpoint mentioned something similar to that for tower defense. I hope it makes it into the game. I'm not sure if it will. Feels like it's even less likely that it comes over to Splinterlands, but I still think that idea is so cool. I wanted to include that in my video. So, all right. It was long because I compiled all these ideas together. 32-minute video, but that's okay. We've got our, as my battle's expired here. See, I didn't put enough highlights together to cover. I wasn't expecting to talk for 30 minutes, but now you can look at my beautiful cards again, as that's popped up in the background. We don't need to edit. We'll leave it here. Anyways, what do you guys think of those? Do you like any of those ideas? Okay. Any of the five, all of the five, what's your favorite? And again, I know these aren't coming to the game. The team has so much on their plate already that working on land, got to work on, they've already promised land and boss battles. There's so much that they've promised. There's so much validator nodes. There's so much stuff that they have to work on, okay? They don't have the ability to go put these in, okay? So I know these are not coming. This is all just having fun, theoretical discussions, but that's what I like, okay? I like just having fun, designing these, throwing things together, and daydreaming about what they might look like, and who knows? Maybe after land is done and boss battles are done, maybe some of these ideas will catch some of the devs' eye, and they'll be like, oh, that's cool. I want to do that. Let's go build those guild conquest battles, and they'll of course put their own twist on it, whatever the case is. So I don't know. Maybe there's a chance. Maybe there's a chance 3 years down the line something might get in. but I know that the odds of these getting in are very small. This is just, again, it's just something that I have fun with it. So I hope you guys had fun listening. If you want to discuss any things like this, discuss ideas, absolutely come down to the Juice Team Discord. Come to the Splinterlands. There's a Splinterlands channel on the Juice Team Discord now. That is where you will find me hanging out. So come chat with them. Give me alternative proposals, different ideas you have, modifications on these, whatever. I love just chatting game design. I'll see you guys over there. Thanks a ton.